So this compilation is of almost 800 MCQs. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, we are going to begin now with the Renaissance period and MCQs on it. So it was a time from 1500 to 1600. So this age is also known as the Elizabethan period or the age of Shakespeare. Since Shakespeare happens to be the representative writer of the age, Shakespeare अगर ना हुआ इस age में होता तो it was Marlowe who was the representative person, or it would have been the age of Marlowe, but it is the age of Shakespeare and also known as Elizabethan period क्योंकि Queen Elizabeth I was there in rule. Renaissance means revival, rebirth. So it was revival of learning, rebirth of knowledge, and not only of knowledge, but also of so many things at cultural level, at geographical level, political level. England captured the massive area of the world during the Renaissance period. So it was a time of discoveries. England जो था discoveries कर रहा था, people were going all over the globe और जो भी ढूंढते थे उस इलाके पे मफ्तू होते थे, हमला करते थे. So बहुत ज़्यादा एरिया इस जगह पे discover हुआ, conquer हुआ. So Renaissance is known for revival of learning, translation time, wars and victories, paintings, materialism, discoveries. So ये सारा कुछ जो था ये Renaissance के उस spirit का एक खासा था. So Constantinople was fallen in 1453 AD. जो हम ये ड्रामा देख रहे हैं ये इर्तुगरुल, ये बेसिकली अब लाइक थर्ड टू फोर्थ सीजन में और जो उस्मान का सीजन है, बेसिकली दैट इज मूविंग टुवर्ड्स दिस थिंग व्हिच वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट हियर, द फॉल ऑफ कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल. तो कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल जो था इसको बाइजेंटियम भी कहा जाता था, बाजेंटिनिया, बाइजेंटियम, और उस वक्त वो ग्रीक इन्फ्लुएंस में था. ग्रीक लोग वहां पे बड़े रूल भी कर रहे थे, सेटलर्स भी थे. When it was conquered, जब कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल का फॉल हुआ तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि जो ग्रीक्स थे दे स्प्रेड फ्रॉम देयर, वो वहां से निकले और मोस्ट ऑफ देम वर नॉलेज हाउसेस, तो वो पूरी दुनिया में फैल गए कॉन्स्टेंटिनोपल से भाग के अपनी जान बचा के. एंड आफ्टरवर्ड्स उन्होंने उनका जो वर्क्स थे जो उनके पास, जिसमें क्लासिकल ड्रामास देखते हैं हम ये सारे के सारे, सो दे केम to the public और इनकी translations में. इसी टाइम की जो famous discoverers थे, travelers थे, so Vasco da Gama and Columbus. So अपने अपनी जगह पे ये discoverers भी थे और like discoveries हो रही थी इस time में. In the same period, Martin Luther, he started a movement called Reformation because he wanted to reform the Church of England. Pope Leo X, he ordered Luther's writing burned. So Luther की writing से पोप को खतरा था क्योंकि पोप जो कैथोलिक एक उस तबके से था और मार्टिन लूथर was establishing a new church, so उसकी writings को burn करवाया गया पोप लियो 10 के ऑर्डर पे. वो जो प्रोटेस्टेंट ग्रुप था जिन्होंने मार्टिन लूथर की टीचिंग्स को फॉलो किया, they were known as Lutherans. So this is important. Lutherans कहा जाता था. The Protestant movement divided Western European Christians into Catholic and Protestants. So this was the Protestant movement जिसके बाद ये दो तबके सामने आ गए कि Catholics और Protestants के नेम से. Renaissance came to England tentatively around 1500 AD. लेकिन इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि Renaissance start तब हुआ था. Renaissance was there already in Italy. By 1300s, Renaissance had started in some areas of Europe, जिसमें Italy predominantly, जहाँ पे Dante था, Petrarch था और Boccaccio था. So they were writing their sonnets, works, plays, और उनके जो मुख्तलिफ works से उनका बड़ा असर हुआ इंग्लिश राइटर्स के ऊपर. लाइक बोकाशियो की जो डीकैम्ब्रियन थी उसको जोसन ने फॉलो किया अपनी कैंटरबरी टेल्स के लिए. यूटोपिया वाज रिटन बाय सर थॉमस मोर in 1516. This was important book from Renaissance time. So what was changed in characterization, यानी Renaissance plays में क्या change आया कि अब यूनिक और इंडिविजुअल कैरेक्टर्स हमारे सामने आए. पहले जो पर्सोनिफिकेशन थी, जिस तरह हमने पढ़ा कि लव को पर्सोनिफाई किया गया एवरी मैन के अंदर, इस तरह अब पर्सोनिफिकेशंस खत्म हो गई, बल्कि यूनिक और इंडिविजुअल एक्टर्स को स्टेज पे लाया गया. John Lilly was born and died in 1554. So he was born in 1554 and died in 1606. Euphues was a novel written by John Lilly. So it is important. Endymion in 1588, it was also written by the same person. George Peele was born and died in 1557 and died in 1597. To his credit goes The Old Wives' Tale that he wrote in 1584. ये इसका मशहूर work है. George Peele also wrote Arraignment of Paris, David and Bethsabe. So this is written by him. Thomas Kyd was born and died in 1557 and 1595. So he happens to be known for the Spanish tragedy, जो उसने लिखी 1582 से 92 के दरमियान. और Shakespeare और Marlowe, they were indebted to him because they followed his tradition of writing tragedy. Robert Greene was another famous person of the time. He was born in 1560 and died in 1592. Friar Bacon and Friar Bungay. It was a famous work in 1594 by the same person, Robert Greene. He also wrote A Looking Glass for London and Orlando Furioso. Ben Jonson was a famous dramatist of the time. He was born in 1572 and died in 1637. The Alchemist, written in 1610. It is the famous drama by Ben Jonson. So he is well known for this drama, The Alchemist, written in 1610 by Ben Jonson. Also, he wrote Volpone, Every Man in His Humor, The Silent Women, so Bartholomew Affair. So these were written by Ben Jonson. Christopher Marlowe. अभी तक जो पढ़ा उसमें सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट जो थे उसमें बेन जॉनसन था और उसके बाद क्रिस्टोफर मॉलो है. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हैं दोनों. So he was born in 1564 and died in 1594. Marlowe was also known as, जो उसके nicknames थे. So he was known for many nicknames. Kit, Marcarde, Mercury, the Muses' darling. So ये सारे nicks थे इसके. His famous work, Dr. Faustus, the most famous work, was published in 1592. So this is worth remembering date. It was written by Christopher Marlowe, whose other plays were Tamburlaine, The Jew of Malta, Edward Strew, Dido, the Queen of Carthage. Now, university wits, this is important. So some poets were there from Cambridge and Oxford University, who were friends with each other. So they were Christopher Marlowe, Robert Greene, and Thomas Nash, who were from Cambridge University, and John Lilly, Thomas Lodge, and George Peele. They were from Oxford University. So when combined, they're known as university wits. Thomas Kyd was among them. Like, he did not go to attend any university, but he is placed within university wits. So इसको उनमें place किया जाता है, though उसने कोई university attend नहीं की. The time frame of university wits was near the end of 16th century. So by the end of 16th century, ये लोग they were prolific, they were writing. They were also known as secular writers. So university wits को secular writers भी कहा जाता था. Now coming to the hallmark of drama, the person of Hall of Fame, William Shakespeare. So Shakespeare was born in 1564 and died in 1616. Sorry, they were, that's my mistake. They were playwrights, yes, not poets. Marlowe or सारे contemporaries, ये सारे playwrights से, dramatists से, they were not poets. ये जोश खिताबत में मैं उन्हें poets कह गया. So Hamlet was published in 1603, जिसके बारे में हमने already discussed किया. One of the most influential and important tragedies of Shakespeare, जिसके ऊपर हैदर मूवी को बेस किया गया इंडिया में. Romeo and Juliet was published in 1597. शेक्सपियर के इन तमाम प्लेस की डेट्स और ये प्लेस के नेम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. Macbeth was published in 1623, जिसके ऊपर मकबूल मूवी बनाई गई. Othello was published in 1604, जिस पे ओमकारा मूवी है. The Tempest was published in 1623, जिस पे कोई मूवी नहीं है. Amid Summer Night's Dream, it was published in 1600. Edmund Spenser, the fourth most important person of the age. So he was born in 1552 and died in 1599. So Ben Jonson, Marlowe, Shakespeare and Spencer. तो ये अभी तक सब यानी अगर कैटेगराइज किया जाए तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट लोग ये हैं इस एज में. He wrote Fairy Queen. So the Fairy Queen is to the credit of Edmund Spenser. Spencer also wrote Amority after this. He also wrote Shepherd's Calendar. Philip Sidney. So he was born and died in 1554 and 1586, yet another important figure of the age. He wrote the Apology of Poetry, जिसको हमने डिस्कस किया था. And then Astrophel and Stella and Countess of Pembroke's Arcadia. जो रिनेसेंस के आइडियाज को जिस बंदे ने एम्बॉडी किया ट्रूली अपने वर्क के अंदर, सो इट वाज लियोनार्डो डा विंची. तो लियोनार्डो डा विंची जिसके ऊपर फेमस मूवी बनी डा विंचीज कोड, और इसके जो फेमस जो पेंटिंग्स थी जिसमें मोनालिसा स्टैंड सुप्रीम, द लास्ट सपर इज आल्सो फ्रॉम हिज like most important works. So Leonardo da Vinci was the person from Italy who was painting, and he made the most important paintings of the time, the most influential paintings as well. It was Martin Luther जो कि इंटेलिजेंसेस और यानी इन अ वे कि चर्च की जो माल प्रैक्टिसेस थी उनके खिलाफ बोला. फाल्स्टाफ का कैरेक्टर शेक्सपियर के 3 प्लेस के अंदर आता है, जिसमें हेनरी 4 पार्ट 1, हेनरी 4 पार्ट 2 एंड टाइटस एंड्रोनिकस. उसमें इन तीनों प्लेस में फाल्स्टाफ का कैरेक्टर कॉमन है. So which of the following figure was an important like political theorist of the Renaissance, or in another way you can say which figure rather, because there is no other option. So which figure was important? It was Niccolo Machiavelli. So Niccolo Machiavelli was a person who wrote the famous book The Prince. The Prince book इसने लिखी थी, which is read by many politicians and and all the famous people on great place. Even Francis Bacon follows him and admires him. The intellectual and social movement, which historians call humanism, is what lies at the base of the period, what we call the Renaissance. So, so humanism was the soul of Renaissance, which afterwards was given more importance by the Romantics. Sir Philip Sidney's strong dash convictions made him publicly oppose a projected marriage for Queen Elizabeth. So Protestant. So उसकी Protestant convictions थी, जिस वजह से उसने Queen Elizabeth की एक शादी पे एतराज किया, जिसकी बेस पे ये Queen से नाराज हुआ, Queen इससे नाराज हुई. So Elizabethan age is the era named after Queen Elizabeth I. The Queen Elizabeth II hai, she is still continuing her reign and will continue forever. Ye lag raha hai. So what form of fine arts is the Elizabethan era most famous for? So it is the theater, drama. So drama, theater, plays, ये era इस हवाले से मशहूर है. जिस तरह Victorian age is for novels. So इसी तरह ये age, it is the age of drama, the age of play, the age of theater. What famous writer from the Elizabethan era is considered by many to be the greatest writer of the English language? So that is no other than William Shakespeare. Privy Council was establishing in the time of Renaissance. So it is a group of advisors to the monarch, जो उसे advice देते हैं, उसके साथ रहते हैं. So Thomas More, when he wrote his book Utopia, so उसमें जो major topics थे उसमें riches, jewels, gold, suicide, marriage and divorce. So ये topics थे जो उसने उस book में use किए. Christopher Marlowe, शेक्सपियर पे अगर किसी का influence था तो that was a great influence of Christopher Marlowe. It is said no Marlowe, no Shakespeare. कि Marlowe ना होता तो Shakespeare भी ना होता. One important innovation or creation of the time of Renaissance was the creation of the printing press. इससे पहले प्रिंटिंग प्रेस नहीं थी, सब कुछ मैनुअली हाथों से लिखा जाता था. सो प्रिंटिंग प्रेस नाउ केम इन रिनेसेंस. बाइजेंटियम में जो बाइजेंटीन चर्च था मिडल एजेस में, और जो रिनेसेंस टाइम में आके क्या हुआ कि दे स्टार्टेड कोऑपरेशन विद मुस्लिम्स, क्योंकि जो मुस्लिम्स से द ऑटोमन वो आ चुके थे और फिर वो एक कॉपरेशन का टाइम स्टार्ट हो चुका था. रिनेसेंस जो ह्यूमनिज्म था, इट रिप्रेजेंटेड अ सेलिब्रेशन ऑफ द ह्यूमन सब्जेक्ट, यानी ह्यूमन बीइंग को एक सब्जेक्ट बनाया गया और उससे डिस्कस किया गया. सो रिनेसेंस थिंकर्स, आर्टिस्ट एंड पोइट्स टू द क्लासिकल वर्ल्ड, इनका क्या ताल्लुक था? सो डेफिनेटली दे वेलकम्ड इट, दे एम्ब्रेस्ड इट. सो इसके एग्जांपल क्या है कि we see many translations in this time, जिसमें बाइबल की भी ट्रांसलेशन शामिल है जो कि क्लासिकल है, जिसमें ग्रीक प्लेज की भी ट्रांसलेशंस हैं, और इसमें बहुत सारे साइंटिफिक वर्क्स, मेडिकल फील्ड से रिलेटेड हर चीज की जो बुक्स थी इनको ट्रांसलेट किया गया. तो ये जो रिनेसेंस टाइम था, जो स्पिरिट था, इसमें लोगों ने क्लासिकल वर्किंग्स को, उनको वर्क्स को एक्सेप्ट किया. Spencer was born and died in 1552-3 and died in 1599. So Fairy Queen was written by him. It was published in 1590. Shepherd's Calendar was also written by Spencer. So it was he who wrote it. Fairy Queen is an epic as well as an allegorical poem, जिसमें allegory use की गई. प्राइमरीली ये एपिक और एलेगरी दोनों हैं. Spencer used a distinctive verse form called the Spenserian stanza, जिसको afterwards Spenserian school of thought ने फॉलो किया. तो Spenserian school of thought वाले स्पेंसर के स्टैंजा को फॉलो करते थे. And this rhyme scheme, A B A B B C B C C D C D E E. So this rhyme scheme was the Spenserian sonnet. So Spenserian sonnet में ये वाली rhyme scheme use होती थी, जो कि Spenserian school of thought वाले जो बाद में आए उन्होंने इसको follow किया. Raphael was the most famous was a famous painter of Renaissance time, along with Leonardo Da Vinci, along with Andrea del Sarto, along with Michelangelo, Leonardo, and Donatello. So all these were famous painters of the time. So Raphael को मैंने क्यों यहाँ पे जिक्र किया, क्योंकि आगे हम जाके प्री रैफेलाइट ग्रुप के बारे में पढ़ेंगे जो कि हिस्ट्री में प्रोमिनेंट होता है. रोजेटीज उसके बानी हैं. So this was the age of Shakespeare, or the Renaissance.